I'm Brenden, and it's pretty much I was coming from a soccer background, and I went and played professionally out in Mexico. And then as soon as I came back, played some collegiate and university stuff, and that was the first introduction to our strength and conditioning coach. And I just fell in love with being in the gym, seeing my body change and how my performance would change on the field. And I absolutely loved the rehabilitation side of things because I had a few injuries in my career that basically had a big setback for me, and mentally that was very tough.
How did you get into soccer in the first place?
I pretty much was playing soccer right out of the womb. My dad was a former professional soccer player, and he pretty much implicated it with me right off the get-go. And it just seemed very natural to me.
Get into professional soccer, what was going on in your life at the moment where you had an opportunity to try out, or how does it work?
Well, it was actually a weird little story. I was playing for Trinity Western University, and my brother was just graduating at the time, and we're like, okay, we need to kind of celebrate a little bit, and we went on vacation. So we went to Mexico, him and I, and sure enough, we came back with jobs, and we were those resort guys playing tequila volleyball and doing the dances and jumping in the pool and doing water aerobics. And my boss at the time is a big soccer fan, and we kind of had a local club, and he was actually very interested in getting me some tryouts, weirdly enough. And we just had an exhibition game with a professional soccer player, and it just kind of led to a tryout, and that was it. Fitness and health, I mean, I've been in the industry for a very long time, over 10 years, and I've seen numerous amounts of different stories and different journeys. And the biggest thing is being able to overcome those obstacles. And fitness and health has given me kind of this limitless power over illness, over injuries, ailments, anything like that. Anyone who has come and seen me and they've been complaining of back pain, or they haven't really been able to feel like themselves. And if I'm able to get them there where they've seen professional after professional, I kind of feel that power, a little in a sense that way, and it just all results back to being health conscious and constantly moving every single day. I feel like that's the biggest power we have as people. I believe heavily in motivation. Sometimes people don't really believe in it, but coming from an athletic background, being on sports teams, naturally I'm a very competitive person. I really don't like to have limitations put on me. So whether it be an injury, whether it be an exercise I can't do, whether it be me feeling out of shape, I'm always comparing myself to the person working harder than me. So I've always had a mentality where I want to be the hardest working person on the field. I want to be the most skillful. So it was always, for me, a big motivation seeing others do so much better than me.
If you had to give one piece of advice for someone struggling with weight loss, what would it be?
That's a difficult one. That is something that a question that I've constantly dealt with, and each situation is very different, and each person has their own story. But it would be the biggest thing of what can I learn from this situation. A lot of people that are dealing with weight loss, it's always, why me? Why am I this way? Why am I allowing my head to overcome? A lot of it is literally, if you just think of the simple things. Think of getting yourself through the doors, joining a group class, just starting in those small little steps, and constantly chatting to people. A lot of the times it can be you want to be very private about everything because you feel, number one, ashamed that you allowed yourself to get to this particular situation. There's no reason to be shameful about anything. Everyone's here at their own skill level, and every journey starts with one step. I hate to be cliche that way, but that literally is how you have to live your day by day.
So being a father and a coach, this would be kind of interesting, is the moment you had your first child, how much did your life change when it came to fitness and health?
Well, not just sleep, but with fitness and health, I've always felt that even though my day is compacted with being very energetic and very physical, one of my favorite things to do is coming home and fooling around playing with my daughter. That's one of the things that I always want to be able to do those things. I don't want to bend over and pick her up and feel like my back goes out. So one of my favorite things is to make sure that she sees how active we are so that she can live a very active lifestyle as well. Well, a lot of it is as a parent, I can sympathize now for a lot of my previous parents. So I'm sorry out there for anyone who I pushed. But I do have some sympathy over just new parenthood. It is very difficult, and both my wife and I have seen that. And it's literally a choice that we had to make to say we have to spend some time to actually focus on ourselves, because a lot of times it gets to be about baby and teenagers or whatever have you, but we had to sit down and make a choice and say we need our hour time to go work out. Let's organize our schedule because we know how important it is.
Have you ever experienced a time in your life where you failed at something but it progressed you in life further?
Yeah. If you're not failing, you're not trying at that point. I mean, as an athlete, we continually fail. Whether it be, I can't tell you how I had aspirations of going to the NBA. My stature definitely went against that. So I got cut off of every collegiate team just because I wasn't big enough. In my soccer career, it was the same thing. I was plugging away just to have that professional status, and it just became such an obsession, and it's tough to overcome. But I always look at life as a book, not as a chapter. I can look back, and that was a chapter that I can say failure, and then the next chapter being learning experience, and how it grew me to be a stronger person, stronger athlete, stronger father, whatever it happened to be.
So what obsessions or hobbies do you explore during the weekends?
Ooh, obsessions and hobbies. Well, I'm a big soccer guy, so a lot of it is I like to always do pickup games when it's nice outside. But other hobbies, I'm a hunter, hiker, love the outdoors kind of thing, and weirdly enough, taking on a hobby of kind of some wood craftsmanship. I'm terrible at it. So hopefully I can get better at that hobby, but that's kind of what I usually do.
If you had to give advice to yourself when you were 20 years old, what would it be and why?
Oh man, to go back to my 20-year-old self again. Be humble was the biggest thing. I thought I was indestructible. I was, again, thinking the why me, why aren't coaches choosing me? I didn't necessarily put the amount of work I should have. That's why this fitness industry really kind of had that aha moment for me, was like, I need to start training. I need to become bigger, faster, stronger, because everyone else is doing it and I'm not doing it. I'm just relying on my skill, and needed to kind of let that carry my way. And that was something I would tell my 20-year-old self, to be just like, hey, be humble, man. You're not the greatest thing on this earth.
Is there a quote or like line that you like live by day to day?
It's usually with any obstacle that has come into my life. A lot of the times, especially with clients, I've kind of resulted into my own being, where a lot of it is like, why me? So I've learned to teach my psyche to say, rather than why me, is what do you want me to learn? I'm always on that learning basis of whether I hit an obstacle or something's difficult, it's like, what can I learn from this, rather than why me? Why me is always taking the woe is me approach, and it just leads down to a bad road. So if it's like something where just an obstacle I can't overcome, it's always like, okay, what can I learn from this situation? And it usually helps me and humbles me, and I think that's the biggest thing of I can always learn from the situation at hand.